Nameco's sitting right here. Dustin's sitting right there, and it's time to talk about some basketball. The season starts a little bit earlier, which I'm very excited about. I love me some NBA. In this video, we're going to talk about our tiers and rankings for the point guards.
Point guards.
Dustin, let's start talking about something else first, though.
So, if you've ever played FanDuel, football, obviously nothing beats a football Sunday, but FanDuel for basketball is actually a lot of fun. Click on the link in the description, sign up for FanDuel, deposit $10 or more, and do some basketball stuff, do some football stuff. We're running a private game this year, and also right now, FanDuel is running a promotion with Playboy where you get a year-long subscription to their digital magazine if you deposit $10 or more, and if you go right now, you also get a free entry into their Sunday Million, which is a $7 entry. Click on the link in the description, help us out, sign up for FanDuel, and like I said, basketball daily is a lot of fun.
Nah, I absolutely love. I love putting lineups together for daily. All right, as we talk about the tier 1, the top guys, and this we found interesting. Some other sites don't have this guy number 1, and I get it. Paul George is there now, but obviously it's Russell Westbrook. The guy was absolutely incredible last year, averaging a triple-double, and I think while George is going to take away some of that production, I don't think it's going to be an absolutely insane amount. But if you don't want to go with Russell and you want to go with the other guy we got here, Steph Curry, I'm all right with that if your league counts three-pointers, obviously, because he averaged over 4 a game last year, which is ridiculous.
Tier 2, I mean, these guys are a slight step down, but you're still very happy if you get one of these three
John Wall
as your point guard. John Wall,
yeah, John Wall.
Amazing season last year. Lillard, 3 threes a game, and then Irving, a new home with Boston. You got to think he's going to do well out there, but again, you can't go wrong with any of these 3 guys if you can get them on your team for your point guard.
God, I absolutely love John Wall. All right, as we go into tier 3, I'm only talking about one guy because the next time I talk, I'm going to be talking about a lot more. And Dust said I can only talk about one if I'm going to talk about more in the next one. So the one guy I'm going to talk about is Chris Paul, new home with the Rockets. So how's that going to work, right? Him, James Harden, sharing the ball. His number's going to go way down. I don't think that's necessarily the case because the D'Antoni system is just you shooting 7 seconds or left, a lot of shot attempts. I think that Paul is going to have a solid year. You're still going to get the steals with him. I think his assists could reach double digits. He was at 9.2 last year. I think he gets closer to 10 this year because I do think he is going to dominate the ball more than people think with Harden playing more of that wing position.
Let's move on to tier 4. Still decent amount of talent in this tier. I want to talk about Jeff Teague. He's with Minnesota. I mean, at this point, you're really just looking for what you're looking for and just stats in terms of when you're at this point in the draft, all right, am I looking for a specialist in assists or something like that? And that's what I like about him. He's not going to score a ton, but 8 assists a game. He still throws in 4 rebounds. He still throws in a 3. He's just solid across the board. And my favorite stat, and a stat I pay a lot more attention to these days in basketball in particular, he played 82 games. Same with the next guy, Peyton with Orlando, 82 games. I can't stress that enough. I mean, this new schedule will hopefully prevent all those days off, whatever, but you know, I really do value, players playing on teams where the coaches don't sit their stars or even their role players. But Peyton, he played 82 games as well, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, a steal. I mean, he's just solid across the board as well. But again, he's not going to score a ton of points.
All right, so moving to tier 5, let's talk about some rookies. And to me, we've been hearing about this draft class for years, and I'm very excited about it. I'm big fans of everybody. And the first guy, not gonna lie, I love me some big baller brand. Lonzo Ball we have ranked as the highest rookie in the point guard tiers here. And the reason we got Ball ranked the highest is clearly he's going to ball dominate. He's going to have the ball in his hands a ton. I think he is the front runner, in my opinion, to win Rookie of the Year simply because he's gonna be dishing out a lot of assists. He's going to be decent with points. He's going to get boards. But I do like the pieces they put around him. The Lakers got significantly better, I feel, year over year. So therefore, I think Ball is going to have a good year. I know he's got a goofy shot, but I think he'll have a very productive fantasy year. Next, we got Fultz, and I know Fultz is, everyone's like, oh, is he a true point guard? Well, he doesn't need to be on the Sixers, right? Ben Simmons is going to play a lot of point forward. He's going to play a lot of 2. So I see a lot of scoring out of Fultz. I don't see a lot of other stuff. I don't think he's going to be a ton of rebounds. I don't think he's going to get a lot of assists, but I think he should be a decent volume scorer for you. And last on this list is Dennis Smith Jr. A lot of people, for the Mavericks, a lot of people think that like, oh, he slipped so far in the draft. This guy's incredible. He's Derrick Rose 2.0. He's going to win NBA Rookie of the Year. The problem with Smith, just know he can't really shoot that well, which is obviously tough, especially in the modern NBA. So I do like him based on where I'm seeing him go in these very early drafts, these very early mocks that I'm doing. I think that will rise a little bit. He should get plenty of minutes right out of the gate for the Mavs, but just know you're not going to get a ton of outside scoring, a ton of threes with him, but he is explosive and he's going to be fun to own on any team.
Let's head down into Tier 6. Mr. Ricky Rubio, he's with Utah now. I mean, the story's simple with him. He's your assist specialist. He does throw in steals. He's not going to get you any points, but he's, again, you get to a certain point in the draft, you need certain position or certain stats, and he's a great guy to target for just a late round assist guy. And then Isaiah Thomas, you know, we don't really know exactly his time frame yet in terms of when he's coming back from his injury. So it just all depends on how big of a gamble you want to take. If your league does have IL spots or whatever, like he could IR spots. It could definitely be a nice guy that you could get later. Just stick in that spot and find someone else until he comes back. But new home with Cleveland, you know he's going to get a ton of open threes. I mean, he made 3.2 a game last year. I mean, that could even go up. Been playing with Cleveland, who knows? But he could have a monster year if he can get 100% healthy.
As we move into Tier 7, I want to talk about Rondo on that Pelicans team. I think he's an interesting fit, right? So the Cousins, Anthony Davis, it didn't necessarily work out the way that everybody thought it was going to with the most lopsided trade of all time. They're going to be amazing. Well, it didn't work, and it normally takes a year or two for people to get together. But if you are going to get a guy to distribute that ball, I think Rondo is a great person to put into that for both of those guys, right? The pick and rolls, the pick and pops should work really well. So Rondo, I think, will be a sneaky later round pick. Just know if you're in a league where foul shooting percentage counts, he only shoots 60%. As a point guard, which really hurts your team. So if you've got a league like that, maybe you pair Rondo with like a Drummond and a DeAndre Jordan, and you're going to lose in free throws anyway every week. It can't be Roto. It's got to be head-to-head for that. But I like Rondo. I think he's a little bit interesting.
His fingers are too long.
He does have monster hands.
It doesn't roll off his hands well. Let's take a look at Tier 8. Guy I want to talk about is Murray for the Spurs. Tony Parker's banged up. Murray's going to get a run early on in the year, and we'll get a chance to see what he can do. I'm not expecting huge things, but here's the thing. Do the Spurs start treating Parker more like Ginobili, where they're just really limiting in minutes, you know, playing him off the bench? I mean, at some point, it's got to happen in his career. You know, Parker's definitely not a young buck anymore, so it'll be interesting to see how Murray starts and what his role is moving forward. But in terms of a late round guy that's fun, we really like him.
Tier 9, I want to talk about Tyler Johnson for the Heat, and the reason I want to talk about him is he is always the guy that goes really late in drafts and everyone's really excited about. And sure, he had a decent year last year, but there's a lot of those guards that were banged up. Dragic's still the starter out there, so he is only, in my opinion, a deep league option because you got Dragic, you got Dion Waiters, you got Richardson there. So while he had a decent amount of minutes from time to time last year, I don't think that necessarily happens this year because, you know, Waiters, Richardson, they were also banged up last year.
So that's our point guards. Check out all our other tiers and rankings. We will be updating the rankings throughout the preseason, so check that out. You can click on the card to check out those most updated ones. Also, our cheat sheet, our draft guide, will be up on our site, so check that out. Subscribe to our channel.
And stay in your lane.
And stay in your lane.
You don't even know what that means, do you?
Whatever that means.
How does he not know what that means?
It's important to stay in your lane. So that
you gotta stay in your lane, Dustin.
So you don't hit other
cars.
You gotta
stay in your lane, Dustin.
Why wouldn't you want to stay in your lane?